Welcome back to another episode of the fourth quarter podcast, man. Episode 23. Now, today we got some breaking news for y'all, man, which I'm pretty sure if y'all in the basketball world, y'all done already seen. But James Harden has finally been traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Bro, what is going on, man? Like, they need all that to beat Bron?
It's a big trade, and it's crazy how when something has nothing to do with LeBron gets brought up. So I feel like they're ganging up to beat LeBron because in Harden's press conference yesterday, he said, "We're not good enough. You're not good enough because y'all aren't better than the Lakers." Just think about if the Lakers didn't exist. They would have a good chance. You know what I'm saying? With John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Christian Woods,
Hey.
Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, you know what I'm saying? DeMarcus Cousins. So like if the Lakers didn't exist, the Rockets, they'd be a championship contending team, but the league is trying to gang up against LeBron. So James Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant, they're all going to try to beat LeBron, and I still don't think it's going to be enough. But let's get past LeBron. What's the question? What's the topic? Exactly.
Oh, excuse me. So the topic that I have is, well, basically pretty much what you just said, just for Brooklyn. Now, with the addition of James Harden, do Brooklyn have enough to beat the Lakers?
I think they have enough if everything works out perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Like if Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving,
In
if
the
they're
perfect
all
world, yeah.
if they're all hitting on perfect cylinders, you know, they're all making their shots because obviously you got Kevin Durant. You could say he's the best scorer ever. James Harden, you could say he's the second. You could. Some people might not think so because of the way he plays, but you could just say you have the two best scorers, and then Kyrie Irving as your third best scorer. Oh my goodness, that sounds good. Obviously, you got offense and defense. As far as offense though, it seems pretty good, but I don't think they are good enough to beat the Lakers yet. Um, Unless they were to add a couple more pieces here and there. I feel like losing Allen is gonna hurt because, to be honest, I felt like he should have been in the starting lineup anyway. I feel like Allen should have been starting. Jared Allen, that is, guys. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I feel like Jared Allen should have been starting over DeAndre Jordan. So now, who's going to be the backup for Jordan? I just feel like obviously you got the better player. They got James Harden, but what they did do is the Nets they lost depth. So now you have no Allen, you have no Torian Prince, you have no Karis LeVert. Those are three solid pieces they got minutes. So and you're adding one person. Obviously James Harden's way better than all the guys I just named. This I still don't think is going to be enough to beat the Lakers yet. I don't think it's going to be enough defensively because even though you got Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, none of them who you still got to guard AD. So I understand y'all gonna put up some points, but who's gonna guard AD? And to be honest, people like to say Kevin Durant is all this and that on defense. But to be honest, I feel like Kevin Durant's overrated on defense. Nobody was saying he was all that on defense until he went to the Warriors, a team that was already great on defense. So to be honest, I'm not sold on Kevin Durant's defense all the way either. So that's how I feel like that. So I don't think nobody's going to be able to guard AD and LeBron on the Nets. And LeBron and AD, they're going to be taking more close shots, more mid ranges. LeBron's going to be taking more layups. Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, they're going to be taking a lot of jump shots, which jump shots, you know, you could be on one day or you could be off. LeBron is always going to be 50, 60% from field, and Anthony Davis is always going to be 50, 60% from the field.
Yeah, I would have to agree with most of your points. First off, I want to start off by saying James Harden is a punk. You had a good thing going over there for you where you had full control over mostly everything that came in with the Houston organization, which most players won't be able to say. Only really like him, LeBron, obviously, and probably Kawhi Leonard. So for him to do that after the additions of John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins, I feel like that was a punk move. I mean, Yeah, you probably wouldn't have won, but if we being like, and I know it sounds bad for me to say he need to wait, but LeBron only got a couple more years over there, so I feel like he could have waited. Hey, he could have waited, and then maybe they would have been knocking on the door because, like you said, they were a championship contender. Like if you look back in the Golden State years, which obviously we know what team, no team was beating them, but they took them to a game 7, I think multiple times. So it's like I will always say this: Chris Paul was his best teammate. I know they didn't get along, but it worked. I'm sorry, but it worked. Russell Westbrook, whatever team he goes to, it won't be good. Wizards, prime example. And now with the John Wall, he's not better than neither one of those guys. With him and Westbrook, are kind of like what, but I feel like he should have still gave it a chance. They didn't have a center last year, and now they acquired Boogie Cousins, who I think is a good center once he is fully healthy. I just feel like he did a punk move. I want to opt out. Secondly, I want to say I know those secondary guys that like were coming into like were there with Brooklyn the whole way, even when D'Angelo Russell was there speaking on like Karis LeVert, Jared Allen. I would be pissed if I was those guys because it's just like I'm here trying to build something with y'all. Y'all just brought in two superstars who like coming to my team if really you want to say, and then you trade me off to the Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Are you serious? So I just feel like, and I get why these players say that these GMs have no loyalty, et cetera, et cetera. But to answer the question, no, I don't think there's no team in the league that has enough to beat the Los Angeles Lakers, and that's obviously with no biasness included in it. We obviously jailed last year, and then even though we lost a couple pieces, we still have that jail. If you're paying attention to the season now, we're playing at an extremely high level offensively and defensively, and I just feel like with bar no injuries, excuse me, I don't see any team beating us. All they did, to your point, was add another scoring superstar who hasn't played off ball in damn near 6 or 7 years. So he's not about to just jump into a situation like this and he's about to know like how to do that. And don't get me wrong, I mean he's gonna know how to knock down the three in any situation, but things are about to be a little different over there. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't even know if Kyrie wanted this. Like, so that's still something that I think a lot of us should take into consideration as well. I don't even think Kyrie like said like I don't even think he was excited. I don't think he jumped with joy when he heard James Harden is coming to Brooklyn. So no, I don't think they'll have enough to beat the Los Angeles Lakers, and I feel like they shit on all the players that's been there grinding, trying to get them to a good point. No.
Far as the on ball and off ball, I think Kyrie Irving will be playing off ball, and James Harden will be dribbling. That's how I think it'll go. I think James Harden will be the primary ball handler, and then Kyrie will be like, he's short. I still think he'll be the off guard.
Yeah, well, it's just hard, bro, because you can even see before the season, him and KD were like jokingly talking about like who was gonna like how many post ups they were gonna get a game, like on IG. Like I go by this saying from J. Cole, all good jokes contain true shit. And I feel like he's like because the reason why Kyrie acts the way he does is because he thinks he's an alpha. And I think me and you spoke on this last segment. You're not even the best at your position, so you're not the alpha. And with James Harden coming, and he has more accolades than you do. I mean, as far as like one person accolades, not like a championship or anything, but he has more accolades than Kyrie. So it's like you just got moved to the backseat. At first, you were in the passenger. Now you in the backseat. So I just feel like I mean, yeah, it sounds good for you to say like he'll probably be coming off the off ball, but I just don't think it's gonna be as easy as 1, 2, 3 when it's all like when everybody suits up and it's time to play. And I just feel bad for Steve Nash because now he gotta try to hash all that out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad for Steve Nash because he somewhat knew what he was getting himself into. Now he
That's
probably didn't know all of this was going to happen, obviously, but he knew this was going to be a mission. Like this, first off, you knew you was going to have Kyrie Irving, so you already know how he is. You already know how Kyrie Irving is. So I don't feel bad for him because even though it's a lot going on for him, a first year head coach, he also has a lot of talent as well. So I'd rather be coaching the Nets and have all this talent than to be coaching the Cleveland Cavaliers, JB Bickerstaff. So he has a lot of talent. So he should be able to make that work.
But honestly, bro, I mean, maybe it's just like, different strokes for different folks, but I would rather coach a good group of young guys. Like, for instance, I would probably rather coach the Pelicans than to coach this Brooklyn team right now because, like, on the outside looking in, the grass ain't always greener. So on the outside, we see, oh man, they got KD, Kyrie, and Harden, but actually being there, it's like them niggas gonna they probably about to be arguing in the locker room. Like I don't think this will last long. Hopefully they prove me wrong, but I don't see this, especially with added on top already. Kyrie is already having issues, so I just feel like it's already just like bad, like already coming into it. But Harden is a punk, man, and not even for KD and Kyrie's standpoint because I don't want to wish bad on them, but I hope he don't get what he chasing after. Like, he's a punk for that.
Um, I feel like James Harden, if he would have stayed with the Rockets and been his MVP James Harden, and you got John Wall, you can say him and Russell Westbrook are equivalent. So you got John Wall, you got James Harden, you got PJ Tucker, you got Eric Gordon, you got Christian Woods, you got DeMarcus Cousins. I feel like after they would have got things some chemistry going, I feel like they could have. I mean, they still wouldn't have beat the Lakers, but other than the Lakers, I feel like they would have been able to beat Utah if
And that's
everything
my
was
whole
working.
point. That's my whole point. It's not like he was out there with some scrub. They have a pretty good team. Like, as soon
They
as he
do.
left, people are already trying to get PJ Tucker. They already, I don't know if you've seen those reports, but they already trying to market PJ Tucker because he's a good, solid piece. And they had, like you said, Eric Gordon. He's a great, solid piece. Like, and I just don't understand. And you can tell his body language. I mean, yeah, he's a walking 30 piece, so it probably won't tell by the numbers, but you can tell just like his body language that he just didn't want to be there. And me personally, I thought it died down. He was gonna end up staying, blah blah blah. But after, like, when I seen the reports last night, it's just crazy, man. LeBron hit you with a no look three. Now people want to get up out of there. Hey man, that's one thing I want to dive into. We could touch back on the Brooklyn situation, but I want to dive into. Tell me what you think about how good the Lakers are playing right now, bro.
They're playing good, and I think they're cruising. I think they're like, we're a championship team. Let's just get us to the playoffs. I mean, I don't think they're playing 100%, but they're so good. I feel like they're able to cruise and play at about 85% and still win. I haven't even been watching too much of the Lakers. I mainly been focused on the Pelicans. But yeah, the Lakers, they strolling through, man. And I feel like LeBron is just going at about 80% right now.
And it's just crazy, bro, because like if y'all were tuned in to, like, last season, y'all seen that I was very critical about the Lakers team. Like, every little single flaw I pointed out and I got on them about it, and Cam would try to always tell me like you too hard on your team and blah 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 blah. I have nothing bad to say about them right now. Like, we are playing at a high level, and I honestly agree with you. I don't even feel like they playing like it's like we want to win. I think we're just doing everything right, and it just happens to get us over the hump. Like, and it's crazy to me that it's going like that, and I'm excited, man, and I'm happy to be a Lakers fan right now, man. I'm excited, bro. Clippers. I'm not worried about them at all. I was just telling one of my homeboys, like, last year I was worried. Like, I would tell you, like, I don't think we could beat them in a 7 game series. This year, I think we could sweep them if we came out and actually played.
Yeah, y'all. I do. At first, I had Philly going to the championship, but now, even though I think with this James Harden trade, I think I think I don't got Philly making it no more.
For real?
As constructed, I have to see how Seth Curry pans out, because he's a big part of them, because if he's hitting, that makes it so much easier for Ben to have a shooter like Seth Curry. Is very underrated. He's very underrated.
Every team he goes to, he does well.
Like, you could argue like he's probably better than Joe Harris. So, or for the net. So it's like when you start,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
he's
know.
better defensively, and I think he's a better finisher.
Yeah, I don't know who's the better shooter between those two, but I
And
think
when you factor in those two things, that doesn't really matter because it's not like a 10 and a 1. It's like a 10 and a 7.
I might still have Philly. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see how, because I know I pretty much, I was about to say I know what I'm gonna get out of Joel, but matter of fact, I don't, because what he did, because I'm happy Joel's been doing good, because I've been saying he was the best center since last year, and he's been putting up some good numbers. Yesterday, Joel Embiid, 45 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals, 11 out of 11 free throws. He took 11 free throws, made all 11. Who does that? What center does
Definitely
that?
better than your point guards.
What center does that? And he took a total of 23 shots and made 16. I'm happy Joel Embiid is finally doing what I knew he had in him, because last year I was saying he was better than Jokic, but I really didn't have any. How could I prove it? I really didn't have any, support to prove it. But 11 out of 11, 5 steals? How in the world did you get 5 steals, Joel Embiid? 16 boards and 45 points. Goodness gracious. But yeah, I changed my mind. I'm gonna stick with Philly still.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm not gonna say Philly, but I want to withdraw my pick from Brooklyn, and people probably gonna be like, "What in the world? Like, how you go?" Like, but like I said, I feel like James Harden coming into the mix is really gonna mess things up. And they lost Karis LeVert, they lost Allen, like we both agree, is better than DeAndre Jordan at this point. DeAndre Jordan is on his last leg. Um, so I want to withdraw them, and I don't have a pick from the East right now because, well, if I had to choose, I would probably agree with you and say Philly, but the Celtics aren't playing as great. Uh, Brooklyn has been losing before James got there, so we're gonna see what happens now. Philly has been playing well, so if I had to make a pick, it would probably be Philly as well. But yeah, I want to withdraw the Brooklyn Nets from my East pick.
Um, don't forget about Torian Prince. The Nets don't have him anymore either. He was a nice little piece, Torian Prince.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like they were kind of like the Rockets team. They had good like your bench. That a lot of like that matters. Rondo helped us tremendously last year, and I feel like our bench is still good now. We got Montrez, and you know what I'm saying. So I feel like that benches matter now. So when those three go to the bench, who's coming? Like who's going to control the ball?
Um, what's the dude name? Last name like Carrot or something. It's a
Like
light skinned dude. Yeah.
yeah, like I don't understand. So it's rough because I guess they think they're gonna win the game just off them three playing in their little spurts that they are gonna play, or one of them might have to play the whole game. And KD's not doing it; he's coming off an Achilles injury. Kyrie might not even show up to most of the games. Harden might be the one to do it. He loves stats, so he might be the one to do it.
Also, my prediction is I think James Harden is gonna get back in shape in like 3-4 days. You see how fat he looked out there yesterday? Since he's on a team that he wants to be on, he's probably gonna get back looking in better shape probably in like 4-5 days, man. He looked like a fullback last night. James Harden literally looked like a fullback, but I think that was part of his method to get off of the team.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I did see that one of the commentators said that he looked like he had a pregame meal or something like that.
I seen that. I seen it looked bad, man. It looked bad.
Yeah, like I said, you can tell from body language and the way he like carrying himself, he just didn't want to be in that environment anymore. Like you can always tell. Like so I think that also has something to do with, the reason why he was gaining more weight and being at the strip club and doing all that extra activity stuff. Like it was just bad. So switching gears, since I know we touched on this before, but I think they took their first loss out of like the last three games last night. The Warriors, that is. Do you still see them not making playoffs, or like how far do you see them getting into it if they do?
The Warriors,
Yeah,
I don't know how the play-in is working this year, but the ninth seed will make it too, right?
yeah. If they can beat the eighth seed, I think.
I think they'll get in at like the seventh or eighth seed. I mean, the West. it's not as good. Like I feel like back in the like 2, 3 years ago, you had to get like 50, 60 wins to make the playoffs in the West. I don't feel that way anymore. Like the Thunder, they're 5-5 and they're the ninth seed. Like the Spurs, they're 6-5, they're the eighth seed. They're in the playoffs. Like it doesn't look like you're going to need 50, 60 wins to get in the playoffs this year. So right now, you got the Timberwolves. They're 3-7. They probably won't make the playoffs. You got the Rockets. They probably won't make the playoffs. You got the Grizzlies. They probably won't make it. The Pelicans, I'm not sure about them. The Nuggets, they're at 11. I'm pretty sure they'll get jumped back up. The Kings, the Thunder, yeah, I think they'll make it. I think they'll make the Warriors are 7 seed right now. They're 7 seed. I feel like that's about where they'll be when the playoffs start, 7 seed. And right now Utah's number 2. And if they were to go against them, I think they could beat them. But obviously this it's a lot more basketball to be played.
Yeah, I just like to, cause I don't know. Curry hasn't been playing the best since that 62 point game. I think he had like a 38 piece right after that, but then after that he's been kind of like slowing down a little bit. But I know he getting tired. Like people don't usually carry the load that LeBron has to carry on a night in night out basis. LeBron don't have to score 60, but his facilitating on the court takes so much more as well. So it's kind of like he's dropping 60 every night with the way he does everything else, does the little things. And Curry, I think he tries when he's not scoring 30, he's trying to do that. But when you have Kelly Oubre, it won't work as good as it worked when you got Danny Green or Alex Caruso, Rajon Rondo, et cetera, et cetera. So, but yeah, I actually think like they're starting to, and with Draymond, people playing Draymond off. Like he's not scoring, he's not giving you 30, but he's kind of like in his back in his prime facilitating bag as well, especially like and defensively. So yeah, I think they're starting to get the ball rolling, and yeah, I can see them making six as well. At first, I didn't have them making playoffs, but I mean that's why we play 82 games because things can change. And as far as right now, my mind has changed. I think they can make it work because Andrew Wiggins has been playing a little better as well. So I think they can get the ball rolling. But yeah, the Rockets, see you later. Cancel Christmas. So it'll be Lakers, Clippers, Utah, um, uh, Mavericks, probably Warriors. Um, that's five.
Trailblazers,
Oh yeah, Trailblazers.
Phoenix,
Oh yeah, I forgot about them. They've been playing well. And then what? One more,
Spurs, they the eighth seed right now.
and probably the Spurs and that play-in team. I don't really know who that'll be. Who I get like I don't know.
Denver at 11 right now. They'll probably jump back in.
Oh, I forgot about them. I'm tweaking. So yeah, so you can throw them in there, no order, obviously, except the first two. I think it'll be Lakers, Clippers, because they'll start to get playing too. Um, but yeah, man, that's is the season is getting crazy already. Um, Now with this Harden trade, we had to come up here and talk to you guys about it, man. It's getting spicy now. So we just wanted to come up here and just give our spiel on it, put our feelings out there about how everything going right now, and make sure y'all let us know what y'all think. You got that our good subscriber out there, Ty. Let me know in the comments what you think about this Brooklyn trade, and you know what I'm saying. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Can you add anything else?
Same thing he just said. Let us know how y'all feel about the trade. Do y'all think the Nets getting James Harden helps them as far as getting a championship, or does it hurt them because of the players that they lost? Let me know.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. We gonna see y'all in a couple days. Like I always tell y'all, we back. We getting it rolling. Make sure y'all keep themselves coming. Share with y'all friends, man. It's the best basketball podcast on the net, and we gonna see
Yep.
you soon.